Yeah,
Hey, how you doing?
good, how are you?
Hi. Been outside a month.
Hi,
Hi, I'm Jack.
I'm Morgan.
Jack Whitman.
That's.
Working on it, it is.
Yeah, he was from our, kind of the dog and pouch there.
That's it.
Yes.
Not to tell you what to do, but put more screen on.
Oh. Yeah, you're not the first one to tell me that, it's just hot out, so.
I put it on every day, whether I like it or not.
Yeah.
So, you know, it's just like, it's one of those things like brushing your teeth
Uh-huh,
and trying to get my use.
you're good.
I haven't brushed my teeth in 10 years.
What's that?
I haven't brushed my teeth in 10 years.
Well. That's up to you.
Keep counting.
They're still white.
And I floss too.
Yeah,
How unusual.
oh, yep, I'm the flosser.
Yeah, Boston's good.
Uh-huh.
Saves the dentist bill.
Is the new building gonna have air conditioning in it?
No, none of the buildings have air conditioning.
My house has air conditioning. I put it in there.
Just moving into the old county building? No, the library, where it's now, okay, is moving to the old school, and we're gonna move to the library. Yeah, but it also does not have air conditioning, so.
Is that on schedule? Is that behind schedule?
I don't know that there is a schedule.
Because I heard it was they were gonna move June first.
June 30th was the closing date for school,
That
that did happen, so,
Well, they closed that, that's a positive.
yeah.
It's all downhill after that.
Yeah, so now the library has to make the transition to those. And then we can start working, as we're working on that on. Well. I'll be back in just a minute.
Sure, take your time.
Maybe,
You have one, right, Chief?
here's, this from
This is.
the last meeting.
Oh, thank you. You technically have to sign it.
Afterwards, approved
I guess today's minutes?
yesterday's or last month's.
Oh, yeah, we can't sign that till. And then when you sign the minutes, the clerk signs them to, she's authorizing that it is you that signs the correct minutes, so. But you have to wait till the board approves it. Commission is not moving on tonight.
You change the time to 6:30.
Then they'll just be here at 7.
Yeah, no kidding.
Thank you. I got these from, Pine Mountain Collected in Alice Springs.
Okay,
Yeah,
they're super cute.
thank you.
And they've got a lot of really cute things in there now.
Yeah. Their plants are amazing. Like, yeah, I don't even really
I
fabulous.
think Nick is in charge of those. Oh, no.
I think he is, and he's right. Jake, are you texting?
Huh?
Are you texting people?
I'm texting Mitch Davis, not anything about this.
Argentina.
It was sort of.
You look comfy.
Yeah.
Work from home today. Yeah, no,
I can't imagine why you would have worked from home.
I've been all over the dang state today. Where is everyone? Huh? On Zoom? No, they all said they would, well. They all said they'd be here, I didn't talk to Chris Sanford or. Kathleen, but everybody else said they would be here. Flash number late. Hot there. It was pretty hot down in Denver. Usually 20-25 degrees low and then.
And we got the UV out there, so it kind of evens out. Yeah.
She said she'd be here in 10 at 5:56.
I think one more person to show up for that, so.
You want to talk about that?
Happy. Text you, huh?
I just saw that.
You didn't watch the game? I didn't watch, no.
Oh my gosh.
I was just like, oh, it's fun. No, I have like the notice on my phone that pops out and tells them. After Norway got out to the Boston. Oh, watch the final. But I was like, if France and Argentina again, I'm gonna be upset, so. I don't wanna watch them play.
I think someone else was pulling it after you. So,
Okay,
not sure who they are.
Hmm.
But someone else is pulling it after me, so I think someone else is coming up.
Oh, there's Christian. Have you heard from Kathleen lately?
no. No. Usually comes to meetings where we're reviewing something. You wanna start, Jake?
Yep.
Yeah, you can go sit.
It's 6:05. Welcome to the town of Georgetown School Planning Commission. Can I get a roll call?
Jake Cooper,
Present.
Kathy Hayes, Shane Henry,
Here.
Christian Dixon,
Present.
Chris Sanford, Natasha Jackson,
Here.
Jeff Goldman.
Yes, present. Has everybody had a chance to review the agenda? Yes. Shane?
Yeah.
Do you want me to read over it real quick? Okay. On the agenda, we have audience business. We have the minutes approval for June 17th, action items. Nasir Malik, block 59, lot 8-19 gateway commercial encroachment agreement. And the consideration of letters of intent for Morgan Lori and Jeff Goldman and the discussion of the comprehensive plan. Do I have a motion to approve the agenda?
A motion to approve the agenda.
Or a second? Second. All in favor?
Jake, for 2 minutes, will you just say first Natasha, second Christian? So when we're taking them, it's really hard to hear who's making the motion.
First Natasha, second Christian. All in favor? Yes.
Yes.
Aye. Aye. Motion passes. First, first in business is the audience business. Does anybody in the audience have any? Okay. The next is gonna be the minutes approval for June 17th, which will be the second page in your packet. Does anybody have anything to add to that or to track from it? Does it look good?
Yeah.
Yes.
Good.
Yes.
We have a motion to approve.
Motion to approve.
Yes. Do I have a second?
Second.
So Christian made the motion, Natasha seconded, all in favor? Yes.
Aye.
Motion passes. Next, we have Nasir Malik, lot 59, lot 819. Gateway commercial encroachment agreement, we're getting, your report.
Mike Davenport's gonna be providing a report on us.
Good evening. I'm Mike Davenport with Community Matters Institute. We serve as a planning consultant to the town. And you have before you the staff report that was prepared for the town. The Assistant Administrator, Keja Hart, she has mentioned that the applicant is Nasir Malik, but is not the owner. The owner, according to the assessor's records, and I hope I pronounced this correctly, is Zaji Kilam LLC. So to briefly go through the memo, what you have is the memo, and immediately following the memo are the procedures for reviewing an encroachment agreement. You have and then that's followed by the documents submitted by the applicant. As was stated, this is an application that seeks approval for encroachment license for adjacent right-of-way for 14th Street and for the former Clark Street. The review process, as noted in the staff report, is that an application is submitted to the clerk. The clerk distributes copies of the application, and then it is reviewed by Planning Commission to make a recommendation to the Board of Selectmen. And just looking at some information regarding the site, the property is on the west side. On the east side of the property is Argentine Street. On the west side is a Clark Street, which is no longer a street, but is still a right-of-way owned by the town. The south side is 14th Street. And to the north of this property is vacant land between this property and the visitor center further to the north. The existing site is relatively flat, but it does have many trees on it. Looking at the various maps and information for the site, as you'll see, it's gateway commercial for both the land use plan, future land use plan, the zoning map, and the character map. The property is in the AE special flood hazard area. The municipal code in Title 21 includes regulations. The regulations in Title 21, for your information, it says if you can comply with the standards that are in Title 21, you can develop in an AE designated flood hazard area. This is different than the channel, which is where you would have normally fast moving water. That's not the case here. This is what's commonly referred to as the 1% flood hazard area. In terms of the criteria for approval, which are listed on the second page, you have several criteria, including receiving comments from different departments and outside agencies and the utility companies. And what you have listed in the staff report are the comments that were received as of the time this memo was prepared. And Kasia will be able to update you if any further ones have been received. The only comment we had received at the time that the memo was written was from the sheriff, who under circulation indicated there were no concerns regarding access for service or emergency vehicles. And also noted there's a minimal grade difference between the property and Argentine Street. Then after the references to who receives copies of this for a comment, and that's through enforcement, you then have criteria E regarding encroachment of a building. There is no building at this time, so criteria E doesn't apply. Criteria F is regarding income space. If at some point in the future, if this property is developed and the applicant seeks income within the encroachment area, that can be handled by an encroachment agreement, by the encroachment agreement and a rental agreement. And then finally, does the plan comply with plans adopted by the town? The encroachment policies, the town lists 3 plans: the comprehensive plan, the Gateway Master Plan, and the county's Clear Creek Plan. With respect to the comprehensive plan, the applicant has correctly noted that on page 5, it cites the unfinished streetscape along Argentine as an issue and the need for more commercial space in the town. These are broad policy goals that are contained in the plan. The Gateway Master Plan, which you see a partial illustrative plan at the bottom of page 2, shows for this location. You can see on the left side of figure 3, it's showing a large building. It doesn't have to be a large building, but that was an illustration of what could be there. You also see that there is parking which appears to extend into the right-of-way. In addition to being on the site, it appears there is parking on both the west side and to the south of the property from figure 3, which is from the master plan. And finally, you can see that there are streetscape landscaping improvements shown along Argentine Street. So in general, it is consistent with the three different plans that are mentioned. And finally, whether criteria H is to whether or not there's a benefit. And benefit 2 is whether or not there's a public amenity. In this particular case, as noted in the documents submitted by the applicant, this is a place where there could be streetscape improvements made along Argentine Street, which is part of the linking corridor between the interstate interchange and downtown area, which would be beneficial to the town. So in the staff report, there were three findings that we mentioned. That number one, there are benefits that are cited, that can be cited for this plan in terms of a amenity to the public. With respect to the criteria, as the planner for the town, we're not reviewing the comments of the departments, but we need to note that Planning Commission should consider any comments that have been received in formulating their recommendation to the Board of Selectmen. And finally, with respect to the 14th Street right-of-way, the applicant's note makes reference to encroachments by others on 14th Street. And it appears from one of the photographs that I looked at is that there are some vehicles that do go between Argentine Street and the property to the south of 14th Street that drive across 14th Street. So that is something that should be investigated before there is a final approval by the Board of Selectmen to make sure there aren't any issues related to the property to the south using 14th Street now for access and whether or not the proposed development might have some effect on that. So as planning consultant to the town, Community Matters recommends that the Planning Commission recommend approval based on the above findings. And as noted, you have the option to either continue to deny the application, approve, or approve with conditions. And as I stated, the planner is recommending approval. And you have a recommended motion at the bottom of page 2.
Mike, questions about criteria B and A. We haven't received comments from Road and Bridge, Clear Creek Fire Authority, or street maintenance.
And I have not seen any of those comments.
No, none of them provided comment except for the fire authority, which said that they had no concerns and that their review conducted at a later stage. So.
Okay. And then the only other question, or well, one of the other questions I had was, the 14th Street Road, did the town investigate, the 14th Street use and access issues before approving an encroachment license, or did y'all investigate it at all yet?
It's a vacated street, so it's not a town road in the sense that like other things are town roads. But no, we wanted to, this is a recommendation by my. So we have not.
Is 14th Street that gives you access to dispensary and the liquor store?
So this is on the west side of Argentine, so it's not on the same side as Mothers and.
Right. But
Yeah,
is that
14th is the Mothers parking lot is the,
mother truck?
yeah.
And
So it's,
Okay.
it appears that people do drive across 14th between the restaurant and Argentine, based on tracks in the gravel.
that building is not open, right, but the applicant, Carla is here as the representative of the applicant, if we want to direct any questions to her.
Just one more question, Mike. So it's your recommendation that we, all of this is in line and everything's correct?
Based on the information we have, as I mentioned, as the planner, we're not reviewing the comments by utilities, departments, and outside agencies. But with respect to, is it consistent with the plans? Yes. Is there a benefit to the town? Yes, we believe there is. So based on those criteria, we're recommending that. We're just noting some findings that may need further investigation before Board of Selectmen make a final decision.
Are we concerned about the comments from Road and Bridge at all?
They didn't provide any comments.
Okay, was that just they didn't have time to, or
They
they,
were given a little more than a week to provide comments, so.
there used to be a strip up there?
Yeah, you see platted as Clark Street on the back there and then 14th Street coming down.
Mike, what, if you were to, if I were to ask you like recommendations to make to the Board of Selectmen, to investigate before they approve it? What would they be?
Well, I think it's probably worthwhile for the town attorney to look further into exactly what is the status of access to 14th Street. And this is to avoid a situation, for example, of, let's say, the adjacent property owner to the south says, well, we've been using that for all these years, and will a proposed development within the right-of-way affect our ability to get out in and out of a road that we've been using for years? The county, as Kasia said, it's not a road anymore, but it is listed by the county assessor as property that is owned by the town.
There's other access to that property to the south. There's access all along Richmond Street, so. Michael, can you hear me?
Yes.
It's Carla, so if you go continue, and I did take pictures, I can send them to you if you wanna pull them up, but I just did when I came into town. There, you would be able to pull in on the 14th Street, but you can go 10 feet further and pull in right in front of that. I don't know if it's vacant.
The Crazy Horse does have Argentine access.
Okay. What's it gonna be?
It'll be 12, it'll be apartments and retail spaces. So it's 405 proposed retail, 2,000 square foot retail spaces on the ground floor, and then if we're just under 30 units, so it'd be 375 plus proposed, or being considered to be proposed.
Okay. Do y'all have any questions for her or Mike? Yeah.
Carly, do you wanna say anything else about it?
I don't think so. I think, if the drawings in there, you turn to the, I would say just after my report. I will say, the one thing I noticed initially when we were going back and forth, whether or not it was vacated or whether it was owned by the town, now that it was owned by the town of Georgetown as a parcel, it was vacated and then it became a parcel for the town of Georgetown. That's why we hadn't taken a whole, that's why we hadn't asked for a whole encroachment, so I would like to amend the encroachment if it's possible to take that as 50 foot width of 14. As opposed to just the 30 foot. But if that's a concern to you guys, then we would take that off the table.
So we would have to table it and y'all would have to redo this whole thing, correct?
Mike, do you wanna weigh in on that? She's requesting an amendment to the encroachment request to change it from 30 feet to 50 feet of encroachment, taking up the entire 14th Street parcel.
It doesn't affect what my recommendation would have been. I think 30 feet is listed in one of the documents submitted by the applicant, which is where I got the number from.
Correct. And at that point.
It would not have changed. If it had stated 50 feet, it would not have changed the recommendation.
Do you know if we can proceed with the request for 50 feet, or if we need to repost that?
I'm certainly willing to revise the memo. And if I don't see a need to have to rehear it to change it from 20 feet to 30, from 30 feet to 50 feet. And that in the end becomes more, well, let me back up. That varies by your local, your municipal attorney as to whether the attorney considers that to be a substantial change. Some attorneys would say that's a substantial change. And if it is a substantial change, that for the people who may have read about this or gotten a copy of it, they were assuming it was 30 feet and then it now turns out it's 50 feet. Some attorneys would say, well, we ought to rehear this so that people do have the correct information, because going from 30 feet to the full 50 feet might be considered a substantial change. On the other hand, there's some other attorneys who might say not necessary. The most recent attorneys that I have not worked with have erred on the side of what it being a substantial change, and I have not discussed this with with Georgetown's attorney, so I don't know what his opinion would be. But my most recent experience would say probably it's worth continuing and then rehearing it with that change.
My feeling was that because we're at the planning commission stage, that it would potentially be somehow written in as a condition, so that when it goes to and gets reposted for board of selectmen, it can be officially, and then they can have that conversation. That was my feeling. And I apologize for the.
Keisha, I think, we can approve it the way it is. Or we could table it for the next meeting and have it rewritten for what they want and approve it that way.
It's up to you guys, but what I would say is that you should consider the 50 feet. And that you.
I just don't want to get the town in any trouble or us in any
Hold
trouble.
on, let me finish. You could consider the 50 feet and you can make a motion to approve that. Pending attorney review or something like that, and if he determines that it needs to come back to this board, then it will.
Okay, I would just need to know the wording, that we're gonna use.
Yeah, does anyone else have any questions on this?
Was there proposed new traffic count done?
Say again?
Was there a proposed new traffic count done?
So this is an encroachment. We would typically require something like a traffic count for a special use. Which this is not, so no, that was not required for this.
Is there some?
Yeah.
I do have a question. Is the income aspect something you'll discuss later, if that does come up? As far as like some of the criteria
Income of to the town.
or just whatever?
You're talking about criteria.
Yeah,
Oh. You want to discuss the income space?
like is that, like if it, because right now it's like not decided that that would be something that would trap income, right?
Sure.
Income is, as a criteria, is not applicable in this case, unless the applicant were to seek to derive income from anything that's located within the encroachment. Then the income criteria, which is criteria F, would then come into play.
So like charging for parking.
Right, that's what I was gonna ask about, but like
So the
that's
enforcement is entirely department of this, right?
It is, and it would, even with the 50 feet, it would all still be parking. It just, like, by taking that extra 20 feet, it would allow us to do a larger open space.
What are y'all planning on using the parking for in the meantime, for while y'all are still in the planning phase for the building?
I think I missed part of that, like the parking would meet the count for the building.
But in the meantime, when the building's not there, is this, so the parking's not gonna be there while the building's not there? Gotcha, okay,
Okay,
so it's a neat issue.
okay, got it, okay.
Any other,
questions?
Mm,
Let's see, Mike has a motion in the packet. And I would recommend that you amend it to. Based on the above findings, I move to recommend approval of an encroachment agreement for the property at 1400 Arlington Street. Oh, that's incorrect, actually. My 1400 is across the street, so. Let's change that to
that's,
the legal description I put on the.
1400 is the. List spot.
1400 is listless about, so.
Yeah,
uh,
1400 was what was in the application, but no, it should be corrected if that's wrong.
I didn't realize it was a good one.
Yeah, that's an address already. So that should be block 59, lot 8319. For parking spaces, parking aisles, and a trash enclosure in the adjacent rights of way, 14th Street and Park Streets, with the amended request of 30 additional or 50 total feet into 14th Street parcel. Would you say that?
I prefer you write it down.
Carla, I will say that you will need to provide an updated map for the forest.
Which one of you wants to make the motion? Okay, we did, Shane can make it. Oh, wait, she's gonna hand it to you.
I think right next to nothing, sorry.
Based on the above findings, I move to recommend approval of the encroachment agreement for the property at block 59. Block 8319. For parking spaces, parking aisles, and trash enclosure. From the adjacent right of way of 14th Street, Third Street. Including the requested 50 feet total encroachment in the 14th Street parcel, pending review by the town. A second. All in favor? Aye. 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 Motion passes. And that's contingent on the town's attorney, correct?
Yeah.
All right, and then last, we have nothing else left on that, correct?
Thank you.
You're welcome.
No, that's it for that discussion.
Last we have, consideration of letters of intent for Morgan Roy and Jeff Goldman. Is it too late to, amend the agenda?
Why? What do you wanna change?
I'd like to talk about, adopting the, same, policy that the Board of Selectmen adopted a few years back, when it comes to, members that just don't show up to meetings.
That already exists.
For the planning commission,
Yes.
it doesn't. So what are our rules?
Can't miss more than three, can't miss more than three.
I think it's a percentage of the total meetings,
For a
so
calendar year?
for calendar year,
But three in a row, I think it is.
might be 3 in a row, so.
Right.
And then what happens?
And then you guys would need to consider, moving them on basically, but I think it takes a vote by the end, so.
Okay, because we have at least two members that have missed the last two meetings. I'm not,
I don't think, if you're talking about Chris, I don't think he's missed the last three.
what about Kathleen?
He might.
If we're gonna have members on the board, I think it'd be great if they would just show up. Because otherwise it's pointless. I mean, if they're gonna be a member of the board, they gotta care.
I understand, that's not on the agenda, not in the list.
Alright, well, let's put it on next month's agenda. So back to Morgan Lori and Jeff Goldman. Has everybody had a chance to read Morgan Lori's letter? And we all know Jeff. And we read his letter, correct? Yes. Before. Do we wanna ask them to leave and talk about it, or,
That's not really.
okay, do we know what we wanna do? I'm sorry, what?
I mean, like, it's a public meeting, I know, I kinda let that happen last time, but
I run the board, you don't.
there are rules about, can't take people out of the meeting, so.
Does anybody have any questions for either?
Does anybody have any questions? No. So then do we move forward with a vote?
Yeah, everybody ready to vote?
We have to make a motion to approve one person.
We're making a motion to vote or making a motion.
To approve one person.
To recommend a person.
Yeah, to recommend a person to the board of selectmen.
I didn't think it happened different last time. I don't know why I thought we said. Voting did it. Okay.
Last time we sent everybody outside and talked about it, but. you were-
Yeah, it was just a little different. Yeah, that's okay though. That's okay. Well, I think just based on the letters, I would make a motion to recommend Morgan to be on the board.
Do I have a second? Second, all in favor?
Right?
Aye. All opposed? Motion passes. And then. The comprehensive plan. So. I got for one second. Sure. So has it been a motion not to put you on the board? We were just making a motion to select the next member of the board. And who's Morgan? That's one. So she'd be on the board. She's the new member of the board. And I was still an alternate.
To for selectmen as a full member of the planning commission, you were really an alternate.
Can I say something? Sure. So I've faithfully been on this board as an alternate for 2 years.
For less than a year.
No, not true. I moved to Georgetown September of 20. It's 2 years on my lease, so it might be a month difference or something, because I joined right after I had my lease. So it might be a month short of 2 years. It's been 2 years, maybe 2 months short.
You joined the board at the same time Natasha did. It's been less than a year.
It was last year. Yeah, last year.
And I've faithfully been to every meeting. I just feel like I'm wasting my time.
I'm sorry you feel that way.
I really do, because I can see if I skip meetings, I did not, I faithfully been here. And, I have different schedules, I've canceled other schedules to be here for this. And it's been a year and a half, almost 2 years. And now you're putting somebody else on the board instead of me. So obviously, there's some kind of friction going on here. I'm not really sure what it is. But it's not that I haven't followed through and being faithful. So let's just say, if the next time this comes up, then another person goes in front of me. So there's something else, which I don't know what it is, happening. And you not to recommend you to go on the board after a year and a half, year and 3/4 actually. And I'm a little bit concerned about that. I mean. Obviously, there's a reason for it. And you don't need to communicate with me about it. But I'm gonna resign.
Okay.
Because I feel. I don't wanna be the town clown. You know, just be an alternate and keep showing up for meetings. And you keep putting people in front of me. It's not that I didn't try. It's not that I've been faithful. And honest. Okay. Okay. And maybe someday I'll find out what the friction was.
Thank you, Jeff.
You're welcome.
Thank you, Jeff. The comprehensive plan.
Zola sent in the award letter for the local planning capacity grants. For the comprehensive plan, that's the only update I have.
Okay. That's it.
That's it.
Okay. Do I have a motion to adjourn?
My motion to adjourn.
Second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion